could have made that play. He runs away from traffic, runs into his own man. Look at the scrambling capability of the quarterback Elway.
The sense of where the opening is, and even with the bump, running into his own man, so quick in finding the man open, finding Jackson and getting the ball. 2 missed tackles, the first by Harper, the second by Wright, and then it's just a chase, a matter of speed down the sideline, and a touchdown.
Jackson had just enough to get across the final stripe.
He might have been running out of gas as he approached that goal line. That is a long run, coming all the way across the field.
Now right here, if the tackle's made by Mark Harper, that would not have been a first down. But Jackson's running ability frees him down the sidelines, and a 28-10 lead.
That's Ellis who catches him right at the end. But Jackson has just enough to get on over the line.
Well, remembering his fallen partner Vance Johnson, 3 amigos. Well, Carlos watches the ball fall off the tee as they approach on the kickoff. Gerald McNeil and Fontenot are deep.
For the Cleveland Browns, the sense briefly that they were going to have an opportunity to tighten this game up considerably, and suddenly Elway strikes again.
McNeil lets it go out of the end zone. And you almost wonder if Schottenheimer's coach would like to see him take a chance on those low long ones with his great open field ability. Now Bernie Kosar, trailing 28-10, takes the field. There's a little better look at the shoes or the backside of Mark Jackson.
I'm sure that
the Vance
Johnson from his hospital bed, and probably tickled to be remembered, but he'd rather be out here, I got to tell you that.
Kevin Mack, that inside game. Mack and Biner, 2 north-south runners. He gets 5. Dick Dolak, one of the officials on that long run by Jackson, trying to stay up with the play, blew a gasket and pulled a muscle. And so Jerry Seaman, who is a referee in the regular season, is now working as a back judge. Mack again for only a yard. Jim Ryan and Ricky Hunley collaborate.
Rash of injuries continuing, but this time it was one of the zebras that went down.
The winner, in case you're just joining us, will meet the Washington Redskins, who won 17-10 in a game that was decided in the final seconds, with the Vikings down inside the Redskin 10 and unable to complete a pass on the goal line. 28-10, Denver leads. 8 minutes left, third quarter. Biner complete at the 37. Rick Dennison made the tackle.
A luxury that Kosar has not had a great deal of today. Plenty of time to wait for the receiver to come open. Biner out of the backfield. Watch Kosar. Look at the protection that he's getting on this particular play. He's had great heat all day long. Biner just coming out of the backfield, swinging upfield and then across the field, able to get there in front of Rick Dennison, number 55.
Kosar wide open is Langhorne, and the saving tackle by Dennis Smith. And that appeared to be a breakdown, Merlin. He was all by himself, but he appears to be injured.
He's bouncing back up. He took a real shot in there. One of the questions that was asked in terms of continuity, this Denver defense has made so many changes. Losing Mike Harden, I think, has hurt them. And I think Dennis Smith, the safety, is the man who's supposed to be over there. There he is, but late. Perhaps a recognition error on Smith's part to bring him late into the picture.
29 yards on the play. First down, Denver 33. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Kozar to Biner. Well thrown. Ernest Biner. Touchdown. Oh, was that a touch play by Kozar? We've seen the power game of Elway. There is the finesse. That's just like a little easy free throw that he tossed up there and led Biner perfectly.
Beautifully done. The other thing that Kozar did very well was to measure the line of scrimmage. He knew exactly how far he could go and how much time he could take without crossing that line to make that an illegal pass. Awareness. Boy, I tell you, that's a nice play for the Cleveland Browns. And Denver's defense can't afford to give this guy much room.
Barr adds the extra point with 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. It was a 32-yard touchdown. Hardly throw that a pass or even a throw, just a little soft jump shot.
Time for the great taste.
And welcome back to the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. Bernie Kozar with a delicate toss to Biner for a touchdown. And we'll look at it again right after the kickoff as Lee Johnson has it teed up for the Browns. He kicks it to Bell's side of the field. And he fumbles it out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown, Merlin.
Take a peek at it as we watch Biner from his position in the backfield. Just going to work his way up into here. And then at this point, you've got to keep in mind that the line of scrimmage is on the 33. And watch how close Kozar comes before he finally releases that pass. Biner now moving away. Kozar up. About on the 31-yard line as he just looped that over the top. Mecklenburg, 77, linebacker there, but that's beautifully done
and then
by
fumbled
the
out of bounds. In advance of the spot he fumbled, will return the ball to the spot of the fumble,
Oh, they can't
which is the 9-yard line.
The advantage on the fumble. You can't fumble forward out of bounds. Of course, that rule a year ago, and so it starts at the 9-yard line. So Kozar stopping right around the 35, line of scrimmage around the 33. And there was that moment there where Mecklenburg was in a dilemma. He didn't know whether to stop, go up and meet Kozar if he was going to scramble. And as soon as he turned his head, there was Biner to make the catch. So from the 9, the Broncos lead cut to 28-17. And it's Winder. No gain. Let's look at it from another angle, that touchdown. Presence of mind.
Kozar would like to have gone deep with this ball. You saw him looking to his left, but now coming up, awareness, knew where everyone was. And what a nice play. Unspoken communication between Biner and Kozar to make that possible.
Yeah, that's like when you're at basketball, you turn your back on your man, he breaks for the basket, and that old alley-oop. Natil in motion. And they throw to Natil incomplete. And Elway had to hurry because Reggie Camp was on top of him. The Browns suddenly are getting some defensive pressure on Elway in this third quarter.
You really have the sense that perhaps it was too easy for these Broncos. Everything went their way in the first half. Here in the second half, the Browns beginning to establish that rhythm we talked about. It's something that they were able to do during the season. When they get things going, Kozar becomes much more effective.
The Broncos 7 came on that 80-yard pass and run by Mark Jackson on third down. This is 3rd and 9. From his end zone. Down the middle. And the hit as Tony Bodie had the ball, but the Browns waited for him to catch it, and then 3 men jarred it free.
Second time today that it would appear that Elway made a bad choice on throwing the pass. Bodie not only well covered, but there were a couple of Cleveland Browns who had a better shot at the football than he did. I think if they'd have gone for the football instead of the tackle, they might have been able to intercept.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and Gerald McNeil drops back to his own 40-yard line. Mike Horan to punt.
He doesn't need much to give Cleveland excellent field position here.
Had 2 touchdowns on punt returns this year, called back by penalty. Short. McNeil on the run. And stopped at the 42-yard line. Key to that play was McNeil battling that short punt and catching it on the run.
There's the play I talked about. A couple of Browns right there touching the football as it arrived.
Cleveland has it at the 42 when we return. Kosar begins this drive at the Denver 42. Dumps it on the screen to Mack, and good blocking. And Mack has about 10. Cragen, the nose tackle from behind.
In the Cleveland scheme of things, that is really a running play rather than a pass. They do not run the ball with a sweep very often, but they'll run the backs out with a nice motion and flip them that quick toss and sweep the ball outside that way.
Bob Golick with that injured arm, the cheerleader on the Brown sidelines. Each time they come off, he's there with encouragement. 2nd and 1. Oops, movement in the line. And Townsend reacting to it.
Question of whether someone moved Fike, the guard on that side. Paul Farron, and I believe.
Defense, 5 yards.
So no one did move, and Townsend, overzealous, picks up the 5-yard penalty. 1st down, Cleveland.
Dick, one of the things we have not seen today would be so many offsides calls by the defense against Denver's offense. You remember last week, Houston offsides on defense 6 times as they were apparently being drawn, or said they were being drawn, by Elway's cadence and his motion. A little concern from Dan Reeves here, who feels things turning the opposite direction.
Kosar looking for Slaughter. And a juggling catch at the 10-yard line. They say he stepped out at the 12. 1st down. Boy, that ball was hanging out there, though, very close to an interception going the other way by Wilson.
Slaughter using his speed to run Wilson off and then coming back to the ball, and that's what saves him here. Had he not come back to the football, that one might well have been intercepted.
16 yards to Slaughter on the catch. 1st down at the 12 with 4.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. And suddenly Cleveland threatening to make this a battle. Mack. Boy, the way he runs, you'd almost think he was named after the truck. 8 more yards. Played at Clemson on the national championship team a few years ago. 9.5 speed and a 225-pound body.
Already have more yardage here in the 2nd half than they had in all of the 1st half, and they did not do that badly at moving the football. But the secret here has been good field position and the ability to put it in the end zone.
2nd and 2 at the 4. Ernest Biner, touchdown Cleveland. Biner's 2nd score of this 3rd quarter. And the few Cleveland Brown fans tucked way over in the corner down at the goal line on the open end of the stadium are celebrating, along with Bob Golick. 28-23 the score. 3rd touchdown of this 3rd quarter for Cleveland.
The Browns have come roaring back, and you've got to sense the kind of confidence it takes from that far back not to lose your enthusiasm, to have the kind of courage to put it back in the end zone and get back into this game.
Now, we talked about the quarterbacks throughout NFL Live and throughout the 1st half, and these 2 young men are certainly living up to their responsibility and their press clippings. And now it's Kosar's turn, and the blockers in front of Biner clear the way to make it 28-24. 3 minutes 45 seconds left in the third. We get set for the kickoff. The Browns have scored 21 points in this third quarter. The Broncos regulars in the season gave up 21 points or more only 3 times in a game and have allowed 21 in a quarter. Here the third, and still 3 minutes and 39 seconds left.
Ernest Biner is a money player. Money players know where the goal line is. Watch Biner as he senses where he is.
Pay dirt.
And that's exactly where he wanted to be. Dick, we talked about the contrasts in Kosar and Elway. Let's talk about the similarities. Leadership, the ability to lead their team, to lift the performance. Boy, we are seeing that here today.
With under 19 minutes left in the game, a 4-point contest. Winder flag down as Winder picks up 10, maybe a face mask. Winder with 60 yards rushing in this game. Now, you never.
Number 99 defense, 5 yards added to the run. It's a first down.
Again, Sims to the 35. And Merlin, when we talk about, well, let's go back to the face mask.
Take a quick peek at it. Sims playing for the injured Dave Pazzulli. You see him reaching in, getting whatever he could to try and get the tackle, get it stopped. But those penalties are very costly.
Quick toss, Lang. Read well by Mike Johnson, a gain of a yard or two. What we started to offer, Merlin, was the comment to people at home watching Denver, and you never hear about their running game, and it sounds as if it's an all Elway offense. And yet, whenever Denver throughout the season needed the 3 or 4, Winder and Lang didn't fail them very often. They're not that bad a running team.
Certainly aren't. And anytime Elway is back there with the ball in his hands, the threat of the run exists. And of course, that makes you think defensively and actually forces you to play differently than you would otherwise play.
Mobley in motion, shotgun. Wide open is Mark Jackson. Breaks another tackle. And finally is out of bounds at the Cleveland 40-yard line. He's got that spin move down pat.
Jackson put a great move on Hanford Dixon. Watch the move. Gets Dixon turned, drives him off the ball, and then lays back on the sideline. Missed tackle right there. And I'll tell you, that has been costly for these Browns today. There was a double missed tackle, a pair of them by defensive backs that allowed that 80-yard touchdown by Jackson just earlier.
Jackson 113 yards, and he just put an all-pro move on an all-pro cornerback.
That's that fast break football we talked about. Big play offense for the Broncos.
First down. Winder protecting the ball for 3. Lucius Sanford. Number 50 with a tackle, played at Georgia Tech. Replaced Chip Banks at that position. Banks traded to San Diego. They had hoped that the rookie Mike Junkin out of Duke would fill that spot. Junkin reported late was injured. And now they wonder whether he'll ever play. Bad wrist injury.
They said, I saw him last night in the hotel. They took the pins out of that wrist, put a new cast on. He said it's a matter of time, but they're confident he's going to be able to come back.
In shotgun on early downs. Ellis on a blitz. They pick it up. Mobley. The giant tight end with a first down, leading to the 29. He's hurt. So is the Cleveland tackler, Harper. That is a mismatch. Harper's 174 pounds, and Mobley's about 274.
Mobley has been described as a 265-pound guard, often used as a blocker, but as a fine athlete. Let's see if we can see what happens at the end of this play. Lucius Sanford, a hit there, and there's the leg doubled up under Harper, but I still could not see what happened to Mobley. Harper's legs doubled underneath him as Mobley was pushed over the top, and Harper's still on the ground holding that knee as Mobley is up. Apparently, he the least seriously injured of the two.
We have a timeout with 1:24 left in the third quarter.
Mobley, I think, in that initial hit from Lucius Sanford may have injured that left shoulder a little bit, but Harper was simply crushed by the size of Mobley and may have opened that knee joint up a little bit.
Leading by 4 points. Down to the 1-minute mark, third quarter. First down inside the 30 for Elway. Underneath, and Natil can't hang on. Well, he's caught much more difficult shots from Elway. And interested to hear Don Shula's comments at halftime for the great quarterback he has in Marino, who can certainly gun it, but admiring the hands of Natil and others to be able to pull in those rifle shots of Elway.
The Cleveland defensive backs worked out this week with a ball machine set to high speed so they could get used to those hard throws from Elway.
Working out at Albuquerque at the University of New Mexico during the week to be on the same time zone and same altitude. Elway going for Natil. Out of the field of play, not a catchable ball, and Minifield really had the inside shut off. They call him Sky. He's only 5'9", if that, but he has a 44-inch vertical leap. That's almost 4 feet from a standing start. He plays tall.
Let's watch the bump and run action, and of course, once Natil is out of bounds, you saw him step out. He's not allowed to come in and touch that ball. But Minifield, stride for stride, the faster of those two cornerbacks, and he is really a tough one to get open on.
3rd and 10 for Elway.
Big play for this Cleveland defense and for Elway.
Goes to the ground to Bodie, trying to cross him up, and he almost made it. 9 yards for Bodie on the draw out of the shotgun.
Now Dan Reeves
sends in the field goal team. That would, if successful, give him a 7-point lead. Reeves, though, has a lot of fakes, punts, field goals. And he himself, of course, in the playoff. Remember in Green Bay, that icy game, it was Reeves on a halfback pass for the Cowboys that gave Dallas a lead they thought would win it in that icy field in Green Bay. Or was that was in County Stadium, Milwaukee?
And it's a quarterback, Kubiak, to hold the ball.
38-yard attempt by Carlos. Straight. Denver leads 31-24.
Back and tie this ball game. Denver's defense not able to be as effective in pressuring Kosar and shutting them down as they were in the first half. I tell you, though, the thing that has to frighten you is to see the number of players who have left this game because of injury. Both coaching staffs scrambling to keep 11 and key 11s on the field.
McNeil, the only deep man for Cleveland, as Carlos kicks it off. Final seconds, third quarter. McNeil's going to return this one, I believe. And the little guy is smothered at the 13. Mitch Andrews downfield, and Bruce Klosterman at the end of the third quarter. Denver by a touchdown will return after. We open the fourth quarter. Just before he came on the field, Bernie Kosar gets himself ready. Interestingly, Art Modell, when he traded all those number ones to get Kosar, I thought he was Jewish. He was quite happy with his religion and his talent. They start from the 13, a 7-point game. Screen to Mack. And Haynes was able to get through a blocker and trip him up.
There's no rush here. Kosar so level emotionally. And I think it helps him. He just absolutely keeps his cool intact throughout the game. You look at what he has done first half and second half.
How do you like that average? 8 for 8.
I'll tell you. That's turning up the heat when you need it.
2 of them for touchdowns. One, that touch pass to Ernest Biner. Down the middle to Newsome. Knocked away. No flag. Simon Fletcher did a whale of a job, number 73. of getting that arm in the right spot to deny Newsom.
And at the end of this play, Simon Fletcher almost KOs one of his teammates back there. Watch it as Tony Lilly, I believe, 22. Watch Fletcher reach in, but watch right here. The ball is off his helmet. Now, I thought they collided. It's Lilly just going to the ground. He thought he had an interception.
3rd down and 4. Down the middle, Biner's open. Ernest Biner with Lilly to beat. And Lilly finally wrestles him down at the 27-yard line. And Kozar and Biner, the men that Schottenheimer penciled in as his top 2 players. He said those are the last 2 guys I'd ever lose in a trade. And they collaborate again for a big Cleveland play.
The other thing he said, when the going gets tough, we want the ball in the hands of Ernest Biner. 4 wide receivers. They spread the field. They get the good isolation right there on Rick Dennison, 55. That's not a good speed matchup. And Biner showing you how fine a receiver he is. Splits it all the way down to the 27-yard line.
53 yards on the play. 27 yards away from a tying touchdown, the Cleveland Browns. Newsom inside the 20. Ryan and Lilly with a tackle. Well, this one had all the promise, Merlin Olsen, of being a classic matchup. The 2 best teams of the AFC, Dan Reeves Broncos and the Schottenheimer coached Browns. Elway of the Broncos against Kozar. And yet it started not that way. All Denver, 21-3, and it wasn't that close in the first half. And suddenly it has gone Cleveland's direction, and the Browns are sitting on a chance to tie it. Second and 2. Mack, a half yard. Townsend, Ryan, Cragen in on the play.
Good play defensively. Denver defense. It will be short considerably of the first down, as they were able to put a lot of bodies in front.
Denver going into this 4th quarter with a lead. They've won 29 in a row when leading going into the final quarter. Last time they were beaten, the Rams, in '85. Kozar 10 for 10 in the second half. Looks at 3rd and 2, a long 2. Mack. What an effort by Kevin Mack to the 5-yard line. Oh, my.
You talk about running with power. Mack would not be denied. Watch him run right through Denver's defense on this play. Right, there's 1 tackle. That's Randy Robbins, 48. Second tackle right there. And finally fell from his own momentum. A great forward body lean as he just propelled his body down to the 5-yard line.
14 tough yards. It's 1st and goal at the 5. Yard. Ricky Hundley, 98, made sure there was no daylight. Joe Collier in the orange cap, the defensive wizard of the Broncos. He's puzzled.
He was certainly able to stymie this Cleveland offense in the first half, but here in the second half, Lindy Infante and his Cleveland offense have spread the field. They've gotten themselves into rhythm, and they have moved almost at will against this Denver defense.
11 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Denver leads by a touchdown. Kozar is 10 for 10 in the second half. Out of the hands of Fontenot in the end zone. Well covered by Haynes. First pass that's hit the ground for Cleveland in the second half. And Fontenot was close to making a shoestringer.
Substitutions onto the field as we watch Kosar unloading that ball at the last second.
Yeah, that was a great throw.
Well, I'll tell you, it's right there where only Fontenot had the chance at the football, and he had it briefly, but the collision with the ground bounced it away. 3rd and goal. 4 wide receivers.
Underneath to Slaughter for a touchdown.
We talked about the similarities in these two quarterbacks. Great accuracy from both of them, and that ball thrown perfectly on the timing pattern before the break, and Slaughter takes it for the touchdown. Kosar perhaps answering, what can we do to answer the drive of last year that kept us from going to the Super Bowl? We got to put a few drives together of our own, and that one was most impressive.
An 87-yard drive. This to tie it. 31 apiece.
Watch how accurately that ball is thrown. The ball in the air right there. And the timing pattern thrown down and away where only the receiver had a shot at that football.
Webster Slaughter. Touchdown tying grab. Not unlike Mark Jackson's catch on a similar pattern that ended that 1st and 98 drive of Denver to tie it in Cleveland a year ago. And we're tied at 31 with 10:45 left. Ken Bell to the 20. Here's the time touchdown.
Let's watch Curtis Weathers on the outside. Here's the man right here who will go inside to open things at Clarence Weathers. Now watch the little hesitation here, and then the drive inside by Slaughter. But Webster will just wait until the area is clear, and then as soon as he can drive inside, the ball is in the air. Well, that is pretty execution.
Now Elwine, who has been ahead the whole game till now. Looking for Sewell, instead goes to Mark Jackson, and he has a first down at the 42 as Denver's Elway trying to answer Cleveland's Kosar. And it was Elway last year in Cleveland's Municipal Stadium who capped that remarkable drive of 98 yards with this touchdown throw to Mark Jackson that tied the game, forced the overtime. And again, it was Jackson lined on the left, slanting into the end zone, a diving catch almost in the same spot.
Exactly the same kind of pass, too. The safe one thrown down low where only the receiver could dig it out.
History does repeat itself. Winder slamming forward near midfield. A gain of 6 for Winder. Mike Johnson with a tackle.
This has really been a day for offenses to strut their stuff, and two very fine defenses not able to slow things down a great deal.
Barring overtime, we're 9 minutes and 38 seconds from San Diego. The Redskins await the winner. Sewell straightened by David Grayson, a rookie at linebacker from Fresno State. Number 56.
Grayson, one of those replacement players that stayed along after the strike. Second half yardage. Look at what the Browns have been able to do. The Broncos certainly not shabby in what they've accomplished, but huge yardage for Kosar and the Browns to bring them back into this game. And how many teams could survive the confidence breaks that this Cleveland Brown team had in the first half?
3rd down and a short 3. Quarterback draw. Doesn't work. Stopped at the 49, a yard short. And the man who made the play is the man who is playing in the 3rd string position at nose tackle, Darrell Sims. Bob Golick, the Pro Bowler, hurt. His replacement today, Pazzulli, injured. And here's Sims.
Sims making perhaps his biggest play of the day as he gets a piece of Elway and enough to pull him to the ground. Golick, I think, on that sideline is going to say, hey, come on over here. I'm going to give you a hug. He wants to have his chance at playing in the Super Bowl, and he knows that he can't do anything except cheer on that sideline and perhaps help Sims, who has got to be getting awful tired out there after having not played a great deal. You see Golick right there. A little support, a little encouragement. And Dick, one of the things that happens to you when you've not played a great deal, you really aren't in condition to play as much as Sims has had to play in this game.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WTOV TV Studio Weaver.
Playing field of Live Stadium by the
With Merlin Olsen, this is Dick Enberg at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. 76,000 plus cheered the hometown Denver Broncos to an impressive 21-3 lead at halftime. In the second half, a 21-point third quarter against Dan Reeves' defense as Bernie Kosar and the Browns came to life. And after Denver had regained an advantage of a touchdown, the Cleveland Browns have gone 86 yards on a drive here in the fourth quarter to tie it at 31.
And Dan Reeves has sent his offensive team back onto the field at 4th and 1. And just inside of Cleveland territory, he's going to take a most interesting gamble.
Cleveland called a time. They thought a fake was in the works, and now here's that pooch punt by Elway off the side of his foot.
Not a good one. It's coming back
to the 32-yard line. Let's go back to the timeout. That might have been a very critical play. We believe that Dan Reeves had Gary Kubiak, the backup quarterback, on the field, and that a possible fake kick was in the works, but Cleveland saw Kubiak and called time. And then Reeves settled for the pooch punt, which had worked earlier this season from Elway.
Home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by GTE, the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 22.
And Kosar hitting Kevin Mack over the middle out to the 37-yard line with 8 minutes remaining in the game. And one of the reasons why that play started before we were ready to complete our commercial message was that with the injury to one of the officials, we've lost that contact. We're sorry if we didn't have it completely. Jerry Seaman, a referee, normally doesn't do that. That isn't one of his responsibilities as a referee. He's in a different officiating position. Nevertheless, 2nd and 5. Kosar going for a bundle, and he's got Slaughter in the clear and overshoots him. Oh, Steve Wilson had Slaughter slipping behind him.
Kosar, no lack of arm strength there. That ball in the air about 50-55 yards. He is a touch passer, but he can get it downfield. He'll put it up high to do it. As you see the clock, right-hand side of your screen. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. Look at the numbers for Kosar in the second half of this ball game.
Brian Brennan, first down at the 45. Brennan was responsible for one of the turnovers of the first half as he fumbled after a reception. Little guy from Boston College who idolizes Steve Largent.
He does have those Largent-type moves and those strong hands. He is such a reliable receiver. Finding the open spot. Good pass again by Kosar. Dick, I was watching Larry Williams on that play. A badly sprained ankle. He's in there. Ricosi has moved to center. Boy, I tell you, they're playing their hearts out on that Cleveland offensive line.
Well, good point. Ricosi's been there almost the entire game. The rookie from Miami of Florida. Mack cut off by Jim Ryan. Good play by Ryan. The smallest of the linebackers of the Denver Broncos. They list him at 218. Plays with great intelligence out of William and Mary, the dean of the defense.
And one of the things you notice being around both of these teams, some great athletic talent, but both of these teams obviously picking their talent with an eye to intelligence and, of course, to character. Look at those possessions by the Browns here in the second half. what they've been able to do.
4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. The game started Elway 3 possessions. First 3 tries, they scored 3 touchdowns.
The blitz is on.
And the long pass downfield is knocked away brilliantly by Haynes. Brennan had touchdown written on that one as he had slipped deep. But Mark Haynes saves it for Denver.
Some confusion there as Webster Slaughter brought his man right into the end of that play. Unusual to see 2 receivers in this Cleveland offense bumping together as you look from the reverse angle. Slaughter will come from this side of the screen, and you see right there, I think if he had stayed away, it might, Jeremiah Castile, number 28, I believe, was the man who made the play, and he would not have been there.
That's right. On the replay, Castile perhaps more than Haynes responsible for saving the touchdown. 4th quarter, 31 all. 3rd and 11. Biner on the sidelines.
Oh, great hands.
But well short of a first down at the 47.
Biner lost his feet on the sideline, still able to catch that ball, but not able to pick up the first down. And Denver's defense rising to the occasion here. And this crowd that kind of felt cheated last week didn't feel like they were given a complete game, or certainly getting their money's worth here today.
Lee Johnson, who has kicked well today, although not so well since being acquired from Houston. Casey Clark at the 10. End over end and short.
Not a good kick.
Clark ran out of bounds at the 23-yard line. A 38-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Does that sound familiar? Wasn't it about that time last year in Cleveland when Elway and Denver started on their 2? The place kicker for the Denver Broncos. He missed earlier from 50 yards. Made a shorter kick, anticipating his role. Super Bowl on the line. Cleveland 31, Denver 31. And the Broncos start from their 25 with 5 minutes, 14 seconds left. Natil at midfield.
What a great pattern and what a great throw. Natil one-on-one on Hanford Dixon, taking him downfield. The ball is in the air. Natil breaks to the sideline, and there's the football. Boy, that's a great play. Again, credit to the offensive line of these Broncos, who gave Elway the time to get that ball downfield.
Winder meets Sam Clancy and company.
You almost have the feeling, Dick, that the team that's going to win this game is going to have their ball the ball in their hand for the last drive, as this game has really unfolded with some flair. Denver owning the first half, and the Browns really coming back to get their licks in the second half.
Deep for Natil. Felix Wright, the deep man. Ball overthrown by the strong-armed Elway.
Dick, just an observation is in last week's game, Denver-Houston, there were plays equally as devastating to Houston as the plays that Cleveland faced early in this game. You watch that long pass by Elway. But Cleveland seems to have a much greater confidence, a much greater ability to bounce back from the depression of that first half. I think a fragile confidence on the part of Houston kept them from being able to come back in that game. You've got to admire what Cleveland has done when things went so sour for them in the first half, to come back and tie this game at 31-all.
We need 7 for a first down. Natil will get more than that. to the 21-yard line.
Teal and Jackson, the two remaining amigos, getting their licks in today. As you look into the eyes of Elway, oh, that ball, you couldn't take it out there and hand it any better than Teal.
They spotted at the 20-yard line with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left. Teal has 5 catches, 95 yards. Timeout, Denver.
Some confusion. Elway stepped back to talk to Gene Lang. Rather than take the penalty, he'll take the timeout.
So each team has spent 1 timeout in the second half. Bring him here to the Mile High City. After our game, NFL Live. Rich Carlos. Now, Dan Reeves, we asked him what he told his team in the Friday pep talk. He said, I gave him a pep talk on Friday. Said, I'm not much at that, but what I showed them was Rich Carlos's field goal in overtime last year. I showed him that videotape, and I said, I want you to feel the joy you experienced last year when you won it. Take that into the game with you on Sunday. Well, this may be the time, although it's first down at the 20. Touchdown! The Duke has delivered, and it'll be Bernie Kosar with 4 minutes left to get his chance as Carlos attempts the extra point. Denver 38, Cleveland 31.
Just a little screen for Sammy Winder. You let the defensive lineman go through. Winder hides momentarily, and now Winder does his thing. Good running, a missed tackle there, a second missed tackle. Minifield, the second man to miss him. This Cleveland defense has been hurt badly by missed tackle. There's a little mud walk right there. Elway saying, we have the confidence to bring it down the field. Boy, they've proven it. And now Kosar gathering with his troops on the sideline with their opportunity to bring it up the field.
Last year, Bernie Kosar had thrown a touchdown pass to Brian Brennan at Municipal Stadium, and the Browns fans thought they had a championship, only to see Elway and the drive 98 yards to tie and then win in overtime. Well, Kosar here in Denver, the situation totally reversed. He's now the visitor, and he will have to rally from 7 points down. And we have seen he has the talent to do it. It took Elway only 1 minute and 13 seconds to drive his team 75 yards, 5 plays. Winder 20 yards for the touchdown that gave the Broncos a 38-31 lead. A grand climax to the American Football Conference season. And the prize will either go to that man, John Elway, or Cleveland's Bernie Kosar. McNeil to the 25. know, when you're a kid and you grow up some 70 miles from Cleveland as a Browns fan, you dream about certain opportunities. We all did it in our youth, put ourselves in the position of our heroes. Bernie Kosar grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. He said early, only 1 year old when Frank Ryan was the quarterback. And the Browns won the National Football League title, beating the Colts 27-0. Now it's his turn to rally Cleveland. Up the middle, Biner. And he has 20 to make that 16 yards on a blast that opened quickly.
Cleveland continues to mix their plays well, in particular here in the second half. And we talked about rhythm. We talked about getting things hammering. They still want to play that physical game. Biner, a physical money player. They took advantage of him there and got it outside of their own 40 and moving in.
Ground again to Biner. Freddie Gilbert, number 90. He too was injured during the course of the season, only to come back. Michael Brooks, a rookie from LSU, and on the tackle. At the 3-minute mark.
Too many men on the field, and they're sending Mack off. They had 12 men.
30-second clock at 4. Kosar underneath to Brennan. Ducks in with a first down at the 44 of Denver. 14 yards on the play.
What an alert play by Marty Schottenheimer. You saw him. He counted the number of players out there, waved off Evan Mack. Brennan doing a good job working there on Dennis Smith. Same matchup that scored their touchdown to tie that game last year.
2 minutes and 10 seconds. Kosar to Brennan again to the 24-yard line at the 2-minute timeout. The Cleveland Browns are 24 yards away from tying it again in Denver. The Super Bowl is next for the winner and the Washington Redskins in San Diego. John Elway took his team downfield in just a little over a minute to regain the lead at 38-31, and now Bernie Kosar, trying to answer, has taken the Browns to the Denver 24 with a first down and 2 minutes left. You know, Merlin, Sam Weiss, the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, who had to face Kosar twice this year, said he's like a tennis player that always gets the ball back. No matter what you do, he just knocks it back on your side of the net. And that's just how Kosar has played the Bronco defense today.
Those statistics will give you a feeling for what these two great quarterbacks have done today. We started talking about the contrasts and the similarities, but the one thing that jumps at you, results. These two guys are great winners. What a pair did Rogers.
Before the snap, the charge by Andre Townsend. He was called earlier.
Encroachment, defense,
and
number
gets it
61,
second
5 yards.
5-yard penalty to the 19. The pressures of the entire year resting in the final 2 minutes of a game, or maybe overtime. Merlin Olsen, can you possibly share with us what's going on down there? You were there.
I got to tell you, the one thing that keeps you calm is a leader like a Kosar and Elway, and their confidence in that huddle. It's apparent that they just take charge out there.
Biner. What a move. And appears to have a first down or close to, as Dennison and Smith make the tackle.
Cleveland is not a trapping team, but that was a trap in behind Dan Fike, a 6'7", 280-pound guard. The adjustment by the money man, Biner, who just took it outside and picked up that first down.
At the 13-yard line. 38-31 Denver. To Biner. Oh, He was lucky he didn't collide with that upright of the goalpost.
Again, a very accurate pass, and we mentioned Biner's abilities as both catcher and blocker and runner. You've seen that today. Look how well thrown this pass is. Well, he would have been out. He would have been out of that end zone, but with with 3 defenders right on top of him, that's the only place that pass had a chance of being completed.
2nd and 10.
Offsides Denver.
Incomplete, intended for Langhorne. In essence, a free down for Kozar.
On the right side, it appeared either Mecklenburg or Jones, eager to get across, stepped across the line.
That'll bring up 2nd and 5 with a penalty and 1 minute 12 seconds left.
Just a word about this Denver defense. The pressure tremendous on them right at this moment, trying to protect this
Number
lead.
77, defense in the neutral zone, offside.
Mecklenburg eager to come in on that particular play. Dan Reeves on the sideline, angry. Boy, you don't want to make a mistake in that kind of critical situation. But this Denver defense traditionally makes so many big plays in critical conditions and down near their own goal line. These are the toughest yards in football right here.
Draw to Biner. Ernest Biner.
Fumble.
Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my. Or have they? Let's wait for the official to unpile them.
There's a war going on under that stack.
There it is. Denver's ball at the 2-yard line. Biner had the 1st and goal and lost the ball.
Denver's defense, as I mentioned, so often in the past, coming up with the big play, with the turnover, stripping the ball. What a heartbreak for Biner, who had picked up the 1st down, who was ready to take it into the end zone. Oh. The air goes out of the Cleveland team, the Cleveland sideline.
We'll have to see how he was dislodged from the football as Denver takes over just outside their 2-yard line, and they'll be trying to protect the football. Elway figures that's the safest way. Now let's go back to the fumble as Cleveland calls time with 1 minute and a second left.
The same play we saw moments ago. Jeremiah Castile, number 28, reaching in to strip that ball away. This Denver defense trained to reach at that football, to try to force those turnovers. They led the AFC this year in turnovers. There is Jeremiah Castile doing what he was trained to do, tearing the heart out of Cleveland's offense.
Biner, who had picked up the 1st down, had ball out away from his body, and Castile, a reject from Tampa Bay, acquired on waivers by the Broncos, not only stripped it, but recovered it in the biggest play of his football life. Kozar did everything right. He got the ball to the man that they want to have it, as we talked about during the course of this day, Ernest Biner. And he's still the leader, even in this moment of tremendous pain.
Kozar made his drive, took it down the field. What must be going through his mind right now?
Doesn't figure Elway will take any chances. And offside Cleveland. against the Redskins. Denver did not play them this year. In '86, Denver won 31-30. I imagine our friends at ABC would take a score about like that. Not necessarily who would win, but something that exciting. And this one almost proved to be the match of that, 38-31, and Cleveland denied on what would have been at least the first down at the 2-yard line on the fumble by Biner going in to tie it up. Two cities football crazed, and how unkind it is for the fans of Cleveland again.
Just flashing back to our pregame show, Paul McGuire asked to assess this game, said it's not going to be a blowout. And after the first half, everyone was shaking their head and saying, oh yeah, oh yeah. He also said that it would come down to a turnover, and that Denver would win this game by 3 points. It won't be 3, Paul, but that was not a bad call.
Last timeout has been used by Cleveland. Our director, Ted Nathanson, and our producer, Larry Cirillo, will tell the story better than our words now.
Lindy Infante. Great respect. A lot of love on that Houston, or on the Cleveland sideline, and a lot of pride.
Kosar has just given Biner a hug. Now the presence of the leader at 24 is that this isn't the end of your football life. You've already have to start planning on next year. You don't go over there and sit on the end of the bench and be alone now if you're going to run the ship.
You've got to remember the great plays that Biner made to help his team to get back into this game.
But it's Denver's time this final minute. And now may not even need a final snap because Cleveland cannot call timeout, or can they? Officials have called time.
They're going to measure for the first down, which will stop the clock.
So one more snap, and Dan Reeves will return to the Super Bowl. The first time that an AFC team has repeated as champion since the Pittsburgh Steelers did it in '78 and '79 and won their 3rd and 4th Super Bowls.
First down.
Well, so with that, Gerald McNeil, perhaps the most dangerous kick returner in the game, will get a chance to return one.
Or we'll have an attempt to block the kick one way or another. Or Elway may decide to run it out, go to the back of the end zone.
Take the safety and have a
I think that's more logical in this situation.
What is interesting is that Cleveland has given us the first clue. It won't be a McNeil return. They don't have him in
not
there.
Out there.
11 men.
Not there.
This is hockey's answer to pulling the goaltender and getting the extra man on the ice. 11 men after Horan.
Keith Bishop to make the snap. Oh, not a good one.
And
there's the safety.
Making sure he didn't fumble with 8 seconds left. 2 more for Cleveland to make the score 38-33, and the free kick will come from the 20. So McNeil will get his chance on the free kick. The Browns with a key weapon here in McNeil, and of course Denver will probably avoid McNeil
You may even see a pooch punt here, because obviously
Usual Sunday night programming. Moran on the field with a free kick. McNeil.
the clock will begin as soon as the foot touches the football. So those 8 seconds, those precious final seconds for these Cleveland Browns will evaporate quickly.
Well, unless there's a penalty, it's a one-play chance for Cleveland.
Hey, hello.
38-33 Denver. All of this drama set up by Ernest Biner's fumble at the 2-yard line, with Cleveland going in for a possible tying touchdown. 4 turnovers to 1 will be a key statistic. They're going to give McNeil a chance.
Wow.
It did not start with a kick, but when the ball was caught, 1 second used. Now, had that ball been a short punt and a fair catch, then you're allowed a free kick, and could, of course, the field goal wouldn't do you any good anyway. So Kozar's got one desperation throw left.
I don't know if he's got enough arm to throw it all the way into that Denver end zone. And I want to tell you, there are some defensive backs that are going to put a lot of yardage between themselves and Bernie Kosar. I mean, they're starting at about 20 yards in depth, and they'll back up from there. Denver with just 3 linemen on the field. Dennis Smith is back to his, he's 35, 40 yards back. They're going to change the clock.
Farther out of your picture than the Broncos you see. He's all the way inside his 35.
3 wide receivers to the right.
Almost requires a pass and lateral.
Brennan, I think, caught the ball. No, he's out of bounds.
And Denver's Broncos will go to the Super Bowl for the 2nd year. Patrick Boland, the owner of the Broncos, embracing his coach. And for the Cleveland Browns, Art Modell in his 27th year as the owner of the Browns, another disappointment. And the play, unfortunately, from the Cleveland side that will be remembered in a game of so many positives will be this one. Ernest Biner inside the 5. Looking for a possible touchdown. He had the first down. It would have been 1st and goal once inside that 5. Jeremiah Castile rips it away and falls on it. And with that, Denver repeats as AFC champion, led by John Elway. We'll be back with NFL Live from Mile High Stadium in Denver. Last year, he rallied his team in Cleveland to tie and then win. This year, from a tie, he drove his team to a winning touchdown. Our Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, to John Elway of the Denver Broncos, and sharing that with Bernie Kosar, who did everything a quarterback might want to do in such a big game. Kosar and Elway, co-MVPs. Budweiser, a contributor to the United Way on behalf of both. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
4 minutes to play at Mile High Stadium. The third of John Elway's touchdown passes to Sammy Winder, who slips a couple of tackles and goes in to complete the 20-yard play, gives the Broncos the 38-31 lead. Then Bernie Kosar tries to patch together his version of the drive. It could have been the drive too. Ernest Biner, who excelled all day, might have been going in. But what a way for it to end for Cleveland. Jeremiah Castile both dislodges the ball and recovers it the agony.